Yeah, and it would allow the public to be back after, summer break and all of that sort of thing, to be part of the discussion. And could we dredge up the minutes from, I was on city council when the area of city impact was reduced, but the rationale for why it was established at that original kind of blue outline that you showed in the one slide, what was the thought of that city council when it said, worked with the county to establish that initial area of city impact, then that some of us were responsible for reducing?
It would be aversion to Ring Road. That's what that.
Are you talking about the original setting or the last one that was done?
Last.
Well, Bill has a slide. Can you pull that up again? That shows
Show the two boundaries.
the 2004 in existing area of city impact in the magenta or fuchsia color there, and then the turquoise as the one that was existing before.
1993. So that's the 1993 boundary, and this is the 2004 boundary.
If I may. My recollection is that there was discussion of a ring road that angered some county residents and caused the county officials to respond. And when the blue boundary was set back in 1993, state law was that the city had the authority in that area. When the Blaha case came down and the Supreme Court said, you do not have that authority, county took advantage of that and said, well, if that's the case, then we want it reduced. And that's what happened. So.
Okay. Tom, I saw your hand up too.
I just was going to make the general statement that I like the idea of pursuing the informal process first, and just, that's a general comment about how I think we should handle this, and not try to invoke the official formal thing yet.
Sure. So
We have that if we need it.
Okay. I've heard from Walter and Wayne and now Tom. Is there general consensus of that kind of informal approach and a letter to that effect?
We'll sit down and visit with them, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and and I've talked with the county commissioners since their hearing, and they seem very amenable to having the conversation. I don't know what the outcome of it'll be, but at least talking about it, and the idea that our objective is to have orderly development with roads that actually meet up with each other and are of city standards, and that we don't have leapfrog development that, and that, as B.J. Swanson pointed out at the county hearing, that would be such more of a disadvantage to the smaller rural communities in Latah County, perhaps, than it would be even to the city of Moscow. But Bill, do you and Gary have sufficient lead from the council?
If we could just revisit that.
Yeah.
So the direction from the council is to prepare a letter that indicates to the county that we desire to enter into renegotiation. First step that we're suggesting is that we meet with the county council and the county commissioners, meet to define the process, frame the issues, that sort of thing, and mutually come up with a mutually agreeable process. Okay, sure. And do that prior to the expiration of 30 days.
Yes, and if
Okay.
if they will meet with us.
Sure.
They will.
And Sue,
In September.
Well,
Exactly.
I guess, Bill, the 10-year requirement is to review it, not necessarily to renegotiate it.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
That's
So, and you had discussed before in the informal process that it's not just this one informal meeting, it's just then recommendations from P&Z and recommendations from their zoning commission and planning commission and.
I would anticipate that it would include participation by both the
Right.
city and the county's
So first kind of a
planning
review
bodies.
and then recommendation.
I would anticipate that as we have the joint meeting, discuss the process to move forward.
Yep.
We can certainly talk with county staff to define how we envision the commissions being involved in that process, providing that input. And as is required underneath Idaho code, the commissions do have a role in that process.
And as the city is in the county, we having a non-adversarial role process is much better. Much better.
Yeah. And we have a wonderful resource at the University of Idaho in their bioregional planning program, which is, not necessarily a political entity, so maybe that would be an interesting way to approach it, because they look at economic development as well as the other natural settings. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate your manner, your style in this, and your awareness of all the issues.